3 hours.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Hockey's Pacific Revision. I'm one of your hosts, Erick, and the last round we saw two teams advance. Who cares? The Dallas Stars exploded out of here into the void, collapsed under the weight of one Jamie Benn. On the other side, the Carolina Hurricanes can't score a goal against a Russian goaltender who somehow found his groove back. Joining me today, the Golden One himself, Miguel. Are you happy?
That's a good intro.
That's already going. So hurry up. Say your stupid thing. Let's get this damn episode going. Hurry up.
Are you recording? Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely. This is it. This is it.
That's not a great intro. What up, everybody? Welcome into the Pacific Revision. That is right. Hockey's favorite podcast.
Don't you redo the intro. I already did it. That's what it is. I already introduced you. Just say hi to everybody.
I am one of your hosts, Miguel. Hi, hello, how are you?
No,
Erick.
I already did it.
Hello, Erick.
I'm the main person. You shut up.
So are you angry?
I'm just miffed. M-I-F-F-E-D, miffed.
Is this not the finals you wanted?
Not really. This is the finals no one wanted. You have one team who somehow snuck in because Pittsburgh couldn't figure out how to win against Chicago, and we have another team who everyone hates and doesn't deserve anything good to ever happen to them because all they do is shit the bed.
Win.
Ugh. That's a terrible final. There are no good finals in sports. The NBA final is awful. Stanley Cup Final is awful. Last year we had a great, season 1 of Pacific Revision. We really didn't know what we had. We had it great with Colorado versus Tampa. What a matchup. And this year we got to settle with Vegas versus Florida.
That was a good matchup.
Ugh.
I mean, the series ended up being whatever just because Tampa just got...
No, it was good. It was in 6. It was great.
Was it in 6?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was in 5.
No, 6. Anywho, whatever. Congratulations, I guess.
Thank you.
This gap is too long, though. By the way, this Stanley Cup break that they've had between games. I think. When was the last time Vegas played? Monday, Sunday. Today is Thursday. At the time of this recording,
Monday.
That is too long. Monday to Saturday. Ugh.
I mean, blame Florida for
sweeping.
They're sleeping.
By the time they play, it'll be 10 days between games for them.
Or blame Carolina for not showing up.
Man, what you want to start there? You want to start away from home?
Yeah, of course.
So
we gotta finish with the good stuff.
So, congratulations to the Florida Panthers as they sweep the Carolina Hurricanes. Even though head coach for the Hurricanes, Rob Brindamore, was like, it wasn't a sweep. Buddy, let me tell you lost 4 games in a row. It's a sweep. I don't care by how many goals you lost.
That guy's a good coach, but that presser afterwards was not the best. You know what I mean? And even the one before Game 4, he's like, we're playing great. We're not doing anything wrong.
Look, I mean, minus the whole getting the puck in the net thing. He might be right, but that's all that you're judged on is how many times you can pass the goaltender, and they did not. Miguel, fun fact, .966 save percentage for Sergei Bobrovsky. And
pretty good.
A new record. Most saves in a sweep, 168. He allowed 6 goals in 4 games. That is pretty good.
Pretty good.
But I'm happy that I was right in terms of Carolina's biggest weakness. Can they score? The answer is no. No, they even got Teravainen back for that round, but didn't really matter. Still don't have Svechnikov. Still don't have Pacioretty.
And Pacioretty, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Pacioretty with Carolina, but history given, he scored a lot of goals.
He couldn't hurt. Is the thing,
I know. I mean, that guy's a goal scorer all the way through.
But look, another year, another deep run for them. They haven't lost in the first round in, I believe it's 6 seasons. So that's a pretty good run for them. But can't get over the hump to get into the final. Carolina's good. It's just the same problem that they've always had: the lack of scoring, or the fact that there's some sort of voodoo magic on Sergei Bobrovsky right now. So I don't know. Like him and probably Matthew Tkachuk, 2 best players. Matthew Tkachuk, 3 game winners in that 4-game series. Overtime winner in that game 1 that went to almost 5 overtimes. Basically 4.9 games right there.
Wasn't it like literally seconds going to the 5th overtime?
Yeah, it was like 7 seconds left in the 4th overtime. I was bummed. I was angry because I got to the point. So this happens in every overtime. You have like the first 10 minutes where everything's tense or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have a feeling of this is never going to end from like the second half of that first overtime to any overtime afterwards. And then you might get bored between overtimes 2 and 3 because it's not your team. Like if it was my team, probably 100% different, but neutral observer here. And then it gets deep enough where you come back and you're like, I just want this to never end. And I got to that point right as the 5th overtime was about to, I guess, be in the books, but Matthew Tkachuk had other plans. He also had an overtime game winner in game 2, and he had the series clinching goal with about like 10 seconds on a 5-on-4 power play for Florida. So Matthew Tkachuk, pretty good trade for the Florida Panthers after a really weird regular season.
You got to imagine they don't make that trade. They're not here. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, it's a gamble that played off for them. It looks like it's doing well. I mean, he has many good years left. That contract seems to be fine. Matthew Tkachuk is playing dividends for this team during the entire run. Like he's been their guy carrying them on the offensive end just as much as Sergei Bobrovsky's carrying them on the back end. So, congratulations on them, Miguel. They touched the conference final, the Prince of Wales Trophy. So now we get to hear about that. I hated that, by the way. This is one of the stupidest goddamn arguments or conversation that we have going on whether a team did or did not touch the cup, the conference trophy. Do you know the last time that Vegas won the conference championship? Did they touch the cup?
Vegas did not. I mean, no, Vegas did, and Washington both also did.
See, it doesn't matter.
So, I mean, historically,
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter, first off. Touching a trophy has no sway in a game. But historically, on the Western side, people that touch it tend to not win it. And on the Eastern side, people that tend to touch it do win it. So, and Vegas didn't touch it. And Florida did touch it.
Just touch the stupid thing. Just touch it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's as much as stepping on the logo in the locker room. First off, you don't want anyone to step on it. Why is it in the middle of the room? Why is it in the middle of the room?
Vegas, put it on the roof.
I'm glad a bunch of teams just decided, like, let's just hang the thing. That way we never have to worry about this problem ever again. So just
LA has it on the floor, right?
No, it's in the ceiling.
Oh, it's on the roof. Oh,
I've been in that locker room. It's nice.
Like, imagine just that much dead space in the locker that you can't walk on.
That'd be annoying.
Fucking idiots, man.
But Florida looks good. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of bounce back after 10 days off because they've been on a heater. They've only lost 1 game out of the last 9 since being, and then if you want to go further than that, 3 games in a row. So what is that?
I mean, they've only lost 4 this run, and Vegas 5, I think it is.
That's on the
Yeah. Florida has lost 4 this run, and Vegas has lost 5. Pretty even.
Yeah, but 11 of the last 10 have gone, pretty well. 11 to 10. Let's see. 4. Then they won 4. Then they won 3. So yeah, 10 and 1 in the last 11. That's pretty good. So I don't know. The break usually is kind of a killer for some teams, but it's not like Vegas has played any time sooner. So we'll see how that kind of
10 cups out of the last 10 cups. The team that got the most time off between conference and finals is they're 1-9. They're 1-9.
I don't know if that matters that much. I need to see. I need
I think it depends on the team. I think some teams are better with a break. Some teams are better with no break. It's just I don't think it mattered really. It's on the. I think it matters on what team it is. You know what I mean?
I forget what the stat is because I know the NBA had a more direct stat because there was teams coming off a sweep against teams who had to go 7 games, and it was pretty like even, so it didn't really do much. But it'll be interesting. I think home ice for Vegas, that kind of helps them out. I think going on the road hasn't really affected the Florida Panthers that much, but we'll talk about the Stanley Cup Final matchup in a bit.
I mean, watching how many games did you watch from that Florida series, if you had to guess?
I watched like 2.5 because I went to Disneyland for a good chunk of that series.
I watched 2.5, 3. It just depends. Like on the first game, I only watched the overtime. That is practically a full game.
No, I came in the third period for that game because I watched the Lakers were playing. So I watched an entire Lakers. I watched like the first 5 minutes of Florida, Carolina. Went to go watch the Lakers game. Came back in the third period, and then watched 4 more periods of hockey somehow.
I watched literally the first period of that. Went to the casino, gambled, went to the movies, watched a full-length movie. Came home, used the bathroom, and was just in time for the start of overtime.
It was kind of nice. It's kind of nice to just keep going. Yeah, it was kind.
I lived the whole life before that game ended.
And the best part of it is because we're in the West Coast. There's a bunch of these East Coast teams kind of complaining like it's 2 a.m. I'm like, it's only like 10 something. It's not that bad.
So watching those games, it just felt like Carolina ran out of energy, ran out of gas, ran out of solutions. Like, yeah, they were peppering Bob with shots, but none of them felt like, not none of them. A lot of them didn't feel like quality shots, like high danger shots. I mean, I don't know what the stats is, but like I felt like they were just spray and pray, as like some people like to say, just shooting and hoping something goes in.
I mean, it's a lot of shots from the point and stuff like that. Like, like we talked about, like the Carolina led the league in defenseman scoring. I thought they did a good job. I think at the end of the day, it's just Bobrovsky had it, and the one thing I was wrong in our last episode before this round was saying that if you look at the advanced numbers for Florida, they got their teeth kicked in against the Maple Leafs. It's just on possession, on shot volume, on all the advanced stats you want to look at.
But Florida was all over. I mean, Toronto was all over them.
But the one thing that they did not win, goal scoring and taking advantage of those turnovers and opportunities, where I thought that wasn't going to happen with the Carolina Hurricanes against the Panthers. Miguel, I don't say this often. I was wrong. And that was more illustrated in game 1 more than anything. Like the way that game ended in the fourth overtime was off a lazy turnover that was taken advantage and scored by Matthew Tkachuk. It's just, that's how they played, and that's how they played this game. It's turnovers, great passing by the Florida Panthers once they have those opportunities. They make the most of everything, and they have everybody clicking, like Carter Verhaeghe scoring goals, Tkachuk, Barkov, even Gudis is chipping in non-dirty hits or whatever your opinion on Ratko Gudis is. But Brandon Montour's still good. Like they're all clicking, and it looks like they know what to do in any given situation when a team finally gets overly aggressive because they feel like they're on the verge of a goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean that's and I think that's where. And looking back on it, don't doubt the Panthers. I mean, we've seen them prove it time and time again that they will take any opportunity and kind of make it work for them, grind out a win if they need to, do the right things, and just get enough for the win. None of these games are blowouts. 3 of them ended in 1-goal games. There was an empty netter in the other one, like a 4 overtime game. Like, I understand Rob Brindamore talking about, like, it's not a sweep. It was close. But, like, it's the same way I felt actually watching the Lakers and the Nuggets play in the NBA Western Conference Finals, where you can keep a game close, but the deciding factor is, can you do that little bit more? And in that other sweep for the Nuggets and the Lakers, their stars always delivered late in the game. 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, put on a run. And it's the same way here, where Bobrovsky's not giving up anything, and late in the game, you can kind of Matthew Tkachuk for the game winner, apparently. So they're really good. And
I mean, you don't get to the finals without being the real deal.
Well, I mean, Montreal made the Cup Final. Like sometimes just stuff happens. Sometimes just stuff
You're
happens.
Right. You're right, Eric. You're right. You're right.
Happens.
You are right. I take it back. I retract my statement. But Florida is the real deal. That's a really good team. People forget they were the President's Trophy winner last year. That's not. I know they crawled in. Not even crawled in. They were like helped in by the Penguins.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pleased after me. You know what I mean? They saw there was one seat left on the playoff bus, and the Penguins went, you know what? You take the seat. I'll wait for the next one.
They were given a crumb by Pittsburgh, and Florida wants the whole cake. But that's a good team. I said they were President's Trophy winners last year. They had a rough season. I mean, people were still adjusting. Matthews adjusting. And now they're clicking on all cylinders, so they deserve to be here. They've beaten the number 1, the number 2, and the number 4 ranked team of the season.
They have a chance to do something a team hasn't done, and that's beat 4 out of the top 5 teams in the league if they beat Vegas.
Crazy, right? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it's a hell of a run.
Who was number 3?
Run. Couldn't tell you. Let's see. If Boston was 1, I believe Toronto was 4. Carolina would have been 2 because they won the Central.
Yeah, Carolina was 2. Toronto was 4.
Would Vegas be 3 and then like Carolina?
It was Tampa, right? No, it was Tampa, right?
No, Tampa played Toronto. Remember? Here, I'll look it up right now. What?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a run. Like, I don't know how. Oh, New Jersey was 3. So it's Boston 1, Carolina 2.
Yeah.
New Jersey 3, Toronto
New
4,
Jersey.
And the Vegas Golden Knights at number 5. So
stupid New Jersey. They got eliminated so long ago. We didn't remember.
the first round or second round seemed like a lifetime ago, especially with this break. Like it's just weird. It's weird that there's just been such a lull in the schedule, but. Let's switch over to the other series. Vegas, congratulations, you win it in 6 over the Dallas Stars.
They had the sweep. They had the brooms out.
Hold on. Let me tell you. So let me ask you a question. How do you get swept but also lose in Game 6, Jamie Benn? How do you get swept but also lose in 6? 2-0 without Jamie Benn. 0-4 with them. Man. What an interesting series. First 2, let's do a little quick recap, Miguel. First 2 really close. I believe Game 1 also went to overtime.
1 and 2 went to overtime.
Oh, they did. Yeah. Game 1 close. Could have been anybody. But Vegas is able to squeak it at the end. Game 2, you thought Dallas had everything that they wanted. Nothing
they dominated
happening
that game.
For about 57 minutes. And then Ryan Suter, who for the rest of the series just forgot how to play hockey. There are so many terrible plays that he did, but this was the first one where he tries to ring it around the boards, gets caught, Jack Eichel catches it, passes to Marchessault, and that might as well have been the series winner in retrospect, because that's as close as it got. Game 3, you're like, okay, don't worry, boys. You know what? We lost 2 close games. We're coming back to Dallas, right? Yeehaw, get your cowboy hats ready. Pew pew, Dallas Stars hockey, baby. Vegas scores like 2 minutes into the game, and then right afterwards, Jamie Benn accidentally falls on Mark Stone's face. Stick first. What
David, I just wish I wouldn't have used my stick as a landing point. Where? You watch that replay. He is sitting up.
No, hold on. Even before that, Miguel. So he knocks over Mark Stone. All right, let's do it frame by frame. He knocks over Mark Stone, and as Mark Stone is on the ground looking up, right? He's looking up at Jamie Benn. He's like, "Oh, I got knocked out." Happens in hockey all the time.
Yeah.
Even in slow motion, you can see it in his brain. You can see Jamie thinking about doing this because there's a pause in him knocking him down and looking down.
Yeah.
There's a pause. And then he just kind of goes, blah, right across the neck to Mark Stone. Miguel, what did it feel like? Another team getting a major in an important game for once.
Okay, so I'm sitting here watching the game with my pops, and so I pretty much have watched this entire playoff run with my dad. Uh, I'm watching it, and I'm like, he goes down, he lands on him. I'm like, that's a fucking penalty. It's my first thought. I
Mhm.
didn't see the stick come across the face like in the initial when it happened.
In real time.
In real time, so I mean, that's gotta at least be a 2 minute. They show the replay. Oh, this motherfucker better get thrown out.
Hold on. Now I got to ask a question. In real time, what did your
Yeah.
dad say? What did
He
Papa
just
Nunez?
he's like, I don't remember. He was just kind of threw his hands up, like, what the hell? Like, I don't remember what he said. Honestly, I can't remember what he said. But
I'm gonna need you to.
threw his hands
I'm gonna
up,
need you
like,
for game one to take notes of what your dad thinks of the game.
And then, so when we show the replay, they show the replay. I was like, oh, this guy, get him out of here, piece of garbage. You know what I mean? I actually did not think he'd get suspended.
Oh, I did.
Just because it was, and I know it's a dangerous play, but it's like, he got literally taken out of the game a minute and 40 seconds into the game. So I'm like, they're gonna count that as part of the suspension.
See, here's yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, essentially, you could call it a 3-game suspension or whatever, but it was 2. Probably should have been more, to be honest. But I don't know. It's always funny with the NHL and how they roll suspensions.
Let's be honest. Thank God it wasn't more.
I mean, I guess apparently. Yeah, I wouldn't. We'll get to game 6 when we get there.
Yeah.
But
I'm still not done talking about game 3 anyway.
Vegas scores 2 goals on the major. Basically, it's done. Like, there's no life. It was boring.
And then also during that major, or maybe slightly after, what's his name? He used to play for Vegas too.
He used to call Colin Miller.
No, not Colin Miller.
Give me. Is it on Dallas?
Isn't it? It's either.
Is it on Dallas?
He's on Dallas, yeah.
Then Evgeny Dadanov is the other one.
Dadanov, he got injured too. He just I don't remember what happened to him. He either blocked a shot or went for a hit up against the boards and just did it, and then didn't come back for the rest of the series. So they were technically down 2 players in that game, and Vegas took advantage. And like you said, pretty much the second that like third goal went in, it's like you knew it was.
Yeah, but they also came out super flat. Even if that major didn't happen, I don't think they win that game. Like the first 2 minutes were so bad.
I agree.
Like I don't know how you play. Go ahead, Miguel. This is your thing.
The fans, I mean, literally booed them off the ice, their own team, in the first period. And then we get to the second period, and you said there was no fight in that Dallas team. And even if your captain gets ejected, like, you're still gonna fight. In fact, the one I remember telling my dad, like, oh, I'm a little worried. Like, yeah, they're playing with one less, but there's a lot of times teams tend to rally around that and use that as motivation and play harder. It doesn't always work, but it does happen. And so I was a little. I wasn't like, oh, we're gonna lose, but like, oh, they're gonna come out hard in the second, and somehow they came out flatter than.
No,
than in the first.
just not great. They didn't feel like you're down 2-0. Like they were in the series up until all that happened. And it's, I know the series went 6, but that game 3 was just as brutal and as kind of like nail in the coffin as you can possibly get.
And then just to finish off the game 3, just because I got to talk about this part. When you get towards the end of the second period, Haig hits Domi. They exchange words. They go the separate ways. About 2 minutes later, Domi hits Haig in the corner. Gets a penalty for high sticking, I think it was. I forgot what they called, or roughing. Haig's just laughing the whole time. He just laughs at Domi after he hit him. Then so Domi decides, like, I'm gonna punch this guy because he's laughing at me. He punches him like 3 times. Haig continues to laugh. Referee separates him. He gets a penalty. Haig throws a thumbs up to Domi as he's going to the box. And Haig gets a penalty for that, for unsportsmanlike. And then trash starts raining from the skies, Eric.
Yeah. Not a lot. Game 4 happens. I think we finally get the emergence of Jason Robertson and Rupe Hintz, the basically the leaders, the young core. I think if anything, this solidifies Dallas that the future is now old, man, and that Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn don't really matter anymore to this team.
Man,
and
Jason Robertson, that kid, he's so fucking good.
He's really good.
So good.
He's really good, and you saw it as soon as he got one. That was kind of the monkey off the back situation there, and he kind of...
So, the goals he scored in game 1, I think it was, I'm like, man, this kid... A lot of his goals, I'm like, God, they're so lucky. Initially. But when you rewatch them, I'm like, they are luck, but they're kind of luck because he's in the right position. He's making the right play, essentially, where it's coming off, it's bouncing, a weird bounce off a stick, a weird deflection from Aiden Hill, but Robertson it's good placement. Like,
yeah, he knows where to
initially,
find it.
I look at him, I'm like, they're fucking lucky. But like, no, it's a good play. It's good placement by Robertson, especially in game 4, where Aiden Hill is going for a glove save, and Robertson literally smacks the puck out of Aiden Hill's glove. It's literally in the glove. He's about to close it. He gets his stick in, smacks it out, and in midair smacks it into the goal. I'm like, who does that? Like that, the hand-eye coordination is just phenomenal on that one. Like, you can't even be mad at that. Like, it's such a beautiful goal and such a good play by Robert. Like Robertson, he's putting the team on his back. Unfortunately, the weight of Jamie Benn was too much for Jason.
Yeah, Seguin also not really doing much. Like, that third line was bad. But I mean, they fought well. I mean, going to game 6, the narrative was Jamie Benn coming back. But I mean, when it's 3-0 after 1, and hi Jamie Benn, your line is -2. Not the sort of inspirational play you want from your captain.
No.
And just like in game 3, lifeless. That game ends 6-0. There's not much to it. It was just a formality, and showed me right there. Like, everyone talks about how possible it is to come back from a 3-0 deficit in the series, and both of these first round matchups had it. Once you're down 3-0, and I said this also when the Leafs went down. It's the in 7 is always funny, but the way you have to look at it at that point is period by period. Once you're down 3-0, every period matters, and Dallas played perfectly for games 4 and 5. It was tight. They didn't overextend on anything. You had an unsung hero in Ty Dellandrea keep the series alive in game 5, scoring 2 goals in like 30 seconds, off a game that was basically Vegas's to shut down. And they were able to bounce back. Once game 6 happened and that first period ends, there it is. There's that opening that allows Vegas to shut the door, and any team that's up 3-0, because you need to keep that kind of consecutive pressure. Game 6 would have been interesting because for me personally, it would have gone 2 ways. Either Dallas blows them out, and then you have doubt going into game 7 for Vegas, or in the first 10 minutes, usually the team that has been up gets reminded on why they were up 3-0 to begin with. And that confidence kind of came back, and you saw it by the end of it. Like, it was just a clinic. Like, once you have cherry on top goals by Keegan Kolesar to even put the game even more away, it's just a matter of the time running out at that point. And that was it. That was kind of it. I think much like Carolina, there's a lot of good. There's some good depth in there. Fun fact, Miguel, we probably don't talk enough about the Stars in Dallas. Guess who's leading the NHL playoffs in scoring? That would be Rupe Hintz, 24. Yeah. And it's not even close. Matthew Tkachuk, 21. McDavid, number 3, with 20. And he hasn't played in the whole round. So,
ain't that crazy? That
tells you exactly how great they were. Also, first in goals, Leon Draisaitl still with 13. William Karlsson tied for second with 10. So, again, when we talk about your stars needing to be there, but also other people showing up, none have done it better than Wild Bill Karlsson throwing it back to that inaugural year one run. So good for him.
Ever since Karlsson had his son Beckham, he has been on fire. He has been scoring goals again.
See, that's the kind of advanced sense I need because I feel like that happens way too often, and I don't know. I have no idea what you attribute to that to, because the last real like dad moment that I remember that sticks out for me personally, I remember Jeff Carter had his first like his highest goal scoring of his career. The like mid trade deadline, he had his kid and then went off. Like I need like a 60-day sample of like when the dad strength begins from birth.
If I remember correctly, William Karlsson's son was born. It was during the Edmonton series, right before Game 5. I think they're coming off a loss and going to the home game, and I think that's the only reason he probably played, because it was a home game. And since his son has been born, I think he has 8 goals.
I wonder if that's just like a mental load thing. We're like, all right, my kid's here, I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, you gotta imagine you're worried, right?
Yeah.
The weeks before leading up to the birth, because you're like, when is it gonna happen? I gotta focus on make sure my wife and this kid is born healthy.
Could you imagine taking a high sticking penalty and then the official in the box tells you, hey, by the way, your wife's gone into labor. Also, your team just gave up a goal on the power play. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so he's the resurgence of playoff Karlsson is here, and I'm all for it. Like, and again, I mean, I feel like I say this after every series. The thing about Vegas, 1, they find a way to win. 2, scoring on all lines.
Like, yeah, there's balance on there. Like I've been saying, Vegas isn't spectacular, but they aren't bad. They are probably the most consistent team, and that's kind of how they've gotten there. They've been very consistent in how they've played. You saw it against Winnipeg. You saw it against the peaks and valleys of the Edmonton Oilers, and you saw it here. There is no major moment, Miguel, that you can pick out where you're like, Vegas isn't playing well, or Vegas is doing something different.
Yeah, I mean, the fourth line had 3 of the 6 goals against Dallas in the game 6.
So, and you know, Dallas, I mean, Jake Ottinger's probably hurt. I think Pete DeBoer said that, which makes sense, but you have to play who you have, and the defense didn't really do him anything, with fucking Ryan Suter being the worst player on God's green earth for the last week. He had a play in Game 6, Miguel, that where it's essentially a 2-on-1, kind of. You have a defender chasing, and Suter is there playing the cross pass, and all of a sudden decides to abandon the middle of the ice and go chase a guy, as this now Vegas attacker has an open pathway to the net. That just sums up, like, Ryan Suter just forgot how to play hockey after Game 2.
Man, it's so funny. So I feel like,
by the way, after Game 6, one of the leading searches on Cap Friendly was Ryan Suter buyout. So that tells you exactly how Dallas feels.
So for anyone out there, and I'm assuming everyone out there that's listening is a hockey fan. If you're not, thank you for listening. Everyone knows when your team's in the playoffs, every time you leave a series, win or loss, I feel like you always end up hating, if not the team, a player on that team. Like, oh, I can't fucking stand this dude. I can't stand this team. Right? Am I right, Eric?
I mean, unless you're you and you leave a series hating an entire fan base, that is correct.
That is true. I have Edmonton. I left and I hated the entire team, the entire fan base.
So, sometimes you just can't choose one, but I understand what you're getting at.
When I left the Dallas one, no hatred towards the fan base. Was actually not toxic. Even Jamie Benn, like, I I'm not angry at him for.
Do you want to know why you're not angry at Jimmy Ben though?
Because he's the reason they lost.
Yeah, because he was bad.
Yeah, like if he was good and did that, I'd probably hate him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I left the Dallas series not hating the fan base. I've even despite them eliminating us in the bubble, I've never hated the Dallas fan base. I don't have hatred towards DeBoer or any of the players. Jason Robertson's actually a great player. I like watching him play a lot. But yeah, so it's just interesting. Like I feel like every playoff series I've always left hating somebody or someone. But not this one. It's probably the first time I could honestly say I have no hatred in my heart towards anybody in that series.
Well, let's see if you have hatred in your heart for the upcoming round between the Florida Panthers.
It's a shame that I love Matthew Tkachuk because I have no doubt in my mind, win or lose, I'm gonna hate that Matt.
Well, let's jump into it, Miguel. What's the confidence level currently at as we approach Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final?
So okay, going into Winnipeg, I think I said I was like at 8 going against Winnipeg. Edmonton, I was about a 5. Dallas, I'd say I was like I would say I was like a 6. Against Florida, I think I'm back at like. So man, I don't know. I'm gonna put it at a 6 as well. I'm not like overly confident. Like I do think we're gonna win, obviously, but I'm not. It's not a cakewalk. It's not gonna be easy. They literally eliminated the greatest team in history. So, and Bobrovsky is playing out of his mind. Who Aiden Hill has also been playing very well.
Would you like to learn a fun fact about the goaltending matchup?
Yes.
Fourth time in final history where two goaltenders enter the final round with a 9.30 save percentage. So, last time that happened, Miguel, the old Nashville versus Pittsburgh series between Matt Murray and Pekka Rinne. So, you've had some outstanding goaltending on both sides. So you're correct. So it'll be good. I think it's hard not to. I think it's easy to take for granted the Aiden Hill storyline when you have others like the reemergence. Well, you have Bobrovsky, Matthew Tkachuk, Jack Eichel getting his flowers right now.
Oh, I know. I love it. I love it.
So
Eichel doing so well is pissing two fan bases off, and I love it.
We get it. You strive on hatred most of the time. So.
I feed off of hatred, man. I really do.
And I hate everything about this final because I will
not deny that.
So it'll be interesting. I think Aiden Hill should probably get a lot more credit. I'm surprised I haven't seen him talk more about the Conn Smythe because I don't know if they get here with Brossoit. Like I know he played well up until he got hurt, but Aiden Hill is doing the thing that I like in a goaltender where he'll make a save and not a generic save. He'll make a desperation save that just either motivates your side, but also deflates the other team. And that kind of happened in the clinching game. I know the game was over, but he still had a couple saves, even up 3-0, where it more or less metaphorically closed the door on everything.
There was one point where Brossoit was literally on his ass, and he was able to.
Are you talking about Hill or Brossoit?
Hill.
Okay, you said Brossoit.
There was literally a save where Hill was on his ass and was able to dive across and get his glove and barely stop them from scoring. You're right. So Brossoit, very good goalie, played well enough. Do I think we're still here with Brossoit? I do. I don't think Brossoit's numbers look nowhere near as good.
I mean, 9.3. What is it? 9.32. I think it is, or 9.31 for Aiden Hill. Like
9.37.
Do even better. Yeah, like that's man. That is a hard thing to replicate. It's outstanding how he's been able to come.
At the end of the day,
sorry, and not just like if he did this entering the Winnipeg series, you'd be like, all right, I get it. You get your feet wet. The Vegas more or less had control of the entire series, but to do what he's done, entering the Edmonton series against that team and that offense has been outstanding because he has had bad games or moments, I should say, like that game 4. Actually, game 5, the Ty Dellandrea goal to give them a tie. That is a not good goal that you want. It was a weird off rush chance outside the dots, weird angle, and it just sneaked over the pad under the blocker for Adin Hill. And those are the moments we have to go, oh, like is the magic over? But as you've seen, even in adversity, Adin Hill's been able to stand there, and I think you have all the confidence in the world entering the final. If I were you, Miguel.
So I'm trying to see which game Brossoit got injured in.
I want to say it was game 3 of the Edmonton series, but I could be wrong. I want to say game 3. Because I felt like with the series tied, I felt like it happened on the road. And
it would have been Monday, May 8th. What game was that?
Goddamn. Doing some reverse sleuthing here. I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to say game 3.
I'll have it in a second.
It was game 3. I want to say it happened in the second period. Couldn't tell you.
May 8th would have been game 3. You're right.
Yeah, thank you. Big braid, Miguel.
So I mean
9-3-4 coming in and on the road, in Edmonton against that offense, and now he's here. Like I don't think you get here without him.
Which is impressive because he went down when it was 1-1. Adin Hill comes in cold. He hadn't played in God knows how long, and was able to maintain the 1-2. They won 5-1. He got throttled in the following game, 4-1. And then he's been amazing since then.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to forget, Miguel. Sergei Bobrovsky did not start off at the starter for Florida.
No.
Alex Lyon took the first 2 games. After losing to Boston, Bobrovsky takes over from them, wins them that 1 game, goes down 3-1, and the rest is history. He's been lights out since then. So
Adin Hill leads in save percentage right now. He's tied in shutouts with Akira
Schmid,
and is 3rd on goals against, and he will not surpass Igor or Frederick because, well, they're no longer playing.
No.
So
no.
And I don't see Adin Hill getting the sub 2 against Florida.
Yeah, it'll be hard. That offense is clicking. Sam Bennett is playing well. They're a very big physical team who takes advantages of any situation that they have. Where I think it'll be interesting. I don't know if you want to jump into predictions then, but
I got a few things to say.
Go ahead.
Before
this is your podcast. You're the one in the final here. I haven't seen my team get out of the first round in 9 fucking years, and here you are, 2 finals in 6 years of existence, huh?
You got 2 cups. You're not gonna get much sympathy from me.
No, I'm bitter now though. But I'll just recline. You take it away.
Vegas Golden Knights. This will be all from all my Golden Knights fans out there.
Hold on. Can we also direct it at Chance? I like him.
And I love Chance. That guy's great, man.
Oh, hold on. And the stupid goldfish you guys have. Goldie, gluck, Goldie. So, Vegas year 1. We come in, we're too good. You know what I mean? We go all the way to the Stanley Cup. We're riding the highest of highs. Just pure momentum. A bunch of misfits, unwanted guys on court. I don't like that, to be honest with you. You're not unwanted. The players that were unwanted were the ones that were left open and didn't even get picked by Vegas. Those were the unwanted players, or the ones that were Vegas was giving picks to pick purposely. But either way, I digress. The misfits, the golden misfits, they ride the highs of the highs. I remember going into that playoffs against LA, like, oh, we're gonna get smoked. We won. San Jose, I was like, the dream comes to an end here. Beat them. Winnipeg, like, oh, I know we've been riding the high, but Winnipeg's too good. This is a quote unquote team of the future, they were calling it at the time. Smoked them. So going into Washington, I'm like, this is ours. There's no way Washington beats us. There's just no way. This is a team of destiny.
This is a miracle story. October 1st, Vegas strong. They're writing it. This town, this is history. We're going to get movies made out of this. We're going to get a great 30 for 30 documentary made out of this. Eric, I was on the highest of highs. We were writing that journey. We all believe this is it. This is a Disney movie in real life. But it came crashing down after that one save on Alex Tuck in game 2. They got beat. It hurt. I was there. I wanted to cry. I had to go to work, be miserable immediately after working overnight. Year 2, I'm like, somehow we're better than last year. This is a much better team. Major penalty happens. Vegas doesn't know how to adjust and kill that penalty and win that. We deserve to lose. Yes, I am saying this, Eric. I haven't said this ever.
Can I say something, though, in that series?
Yes.
So Vegas was up 3-1, right?
3-1. We should have closed them out.
Hold on. In game 5, you guys allowed Martin Jones to have like 70 saves and then lost in double overtime on a shorthanded goal. I'm never going to forget that because that was the funniest thing ever. But I digress. That's honestly, that's more embarrassing than the 5-minute major. I will say
no one talks about that, which is funny. And I actually agree with you, Eric. Yeah. Being up double overtime and giving up a shorty, I agree. Like, it's way more embarrassing than the major. But either way, that here happens. I'm angry. The referees, I mean, again, you know me, historically, I blame the referees. It's whatever. You know what I mean? Vegas should have killed that penalty. Vegas should have never even been in that spot. It is what it is. Then the following 2 years, we go against Dallas. We should have won that, but Pete DeBoer, great coach, doesn't do well at adjusting when the game plan isn't working. Year after Montreal, I don't know. That's one of the rough ones too, because Montreal, man, they shouldn't have been there. And but they ran into a hot goalie, and that's year after year. Vegas fans was always like, man, if that goalie didn't get hot. And after you say it so many times, you're kind of like, maybe it's not the hot goalie. Maybe it's the team that can't fucking score, that can't figure it out, that cannot adjust their game plan.
Well, it's funny because I do think I'll probably suggest this once the offseason hits, because I do think I want to go over the playoff teams that happened. And there are many teams who fit that mold where you're like, they should have won, but this keeps happening. And why does it keep happening? Yeah. Is it luck? Is it the team just isn't built properly enough to combat the road to the playoffs? Is it just timing? Or is it just like the sport itself where lucky bounces happen and it's just organized chaos as a result of everything? So who knows? But I do want to go over the 16 playoff teams after the draft and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, and we'll go deeper into that for sure. So every year, Vegas fans were always like, man, if we didn't run into that hot goalie, if he didn't get hot, if Hopi didn't get hot, if Jones didn't get hot, if Hudobin didn't get hot, if Carey Price didn't get hot. So I'm like, after 4 years, I'm like, maybe it's not the goalie getting hot, because guess what? Jones got beat. Hudobin got beat. Carey Price got beat. Vegas just couldn't be the ones that did it because they couldn't adjust. Partially on the players getting in their own heads, and partially the coach who couldn't adjust, make better plays, game plan, better ideas of attacking. Then we get to the following year, year 5. Vegas is, and still is, probably the most hated team in the league. You got the newcomer Seattle, who gets none of the hate that Vegas has gotten.
Because they've sucked. Miguel, they've sucked half of their existence. You had one bad year out of 6 and been to 2 finals.
Either way,
there's no suffering. Vegas, you haven't suffered.
Yeah, Vegas, most hated team. As Eric said, a lot of fan bases, you haven't suffered. A lot of hatred also came from the decisions and in the way management handled said decisions, like Fleury, like Pacioretty. I get it. I understand. And the front office does deserve hate for that. They absolutely do. Vegas misses the playoffs because over 500 man games lost. I still think they should have made it. Despite the injuries, the players that were injured, like I said, I've said this a million times, the misfit line was healthy and together the whole year. They should have stepped up and who knows, but at least get you into the playoffs. It's not like you missed it by a lot of points. They missed it by 2 victories. I think it was 1 or 2. I forgot how many it was. Like literally 3 or 4 points. The misfit line should have stepped up. They didn't. Despite how Jack was playing, despite Mark being out, despite all that, you should have. So we come into year 6, where everyone celebrated that we missed the playoffs. They're like, Vegas is trash. They're finally gonna suffer. They suffered last year. They're gonna suffer this year again.
I never thought that. It was temporary.
I know you did it. You never said it. I agree. Everyone else did though. Everyone thought like, oh, Jack is cancer. Jack will never make the playoffs. That guy is locker room cancer, and Vegas got absolutely just stole from Buffalo. Buffalo won that trade. Guess what? Both teams won that trade. For once, I can say neither team lost. Jack is happy. Vegas is happy. Buffalo's happy. Alex Tuck is happy. You know what I mean? We go into this season. We started off hot, molten hot, because we were competing with Boston for the first 20 games of the season. Once again, Mark Stone goes down. Leonard was out for the season. Thompson steps up. Thompson gets hurt. There's disbelief amongst Vegas fans, and the league was like, good, they deserve it. They're going to miss again. But somehow the team stepped up. It didn't matter who was in net. Bruce Cassidy came in with such a system who analytically isn't the most beautiful system, but it works. And it's a system that it doesn't matter who you put in net. They're gonna look good, except maybe Quick, who came in and did look good, but then had a lot, 3 or 4 really rough games. Really rough games.
He was fine.
Either way, the team keeps on fighting, constantly bouncing between first, second, and third in the West, alongside Erick's LA Kings. Before he was hit with injuries as well. And Edmonton, who got steaming hot going into the playoffs, everyone was like, Vegas, easy out. First round exit. Despite being number 1 in the West, they're not getting past Hellebuck.
I think that's a little bit of revisionist history there. I don't think anyone had the Winnipeg Jets being the favorite there.
Oh, you're crazy.
I'll give you the Oilers. But the Winnipeg Jets were no one's favorite.
I'm not saying people were saying they were going to walk over Vegas. People had Winnipeg beating Vegas. Most people. Because they thought Hellebuck was going to goalie us.
Miguel, I can pull up all the experts all picking this thing.
We'll get into
very few Jets faithful being confident in anything.
We'll talk about this after the season ends. We can deeper dive into this. Either way, going to Edmonton. No one thought Vegas was going to win. And again, they have every right to think that despite us being first, Edmonton did get hot at the end, and Vegas played cold going into the playoffs. Beat them. Kept Draisaitl after 2 games, no goals, I think it was.
By the way,
after his crazy performance.
He still had 6 goals in 2 games.
I know, but after that, he did nothing.
I know. If you look at it arbitrary, you're like, he scored 6 goals in the 6-game series. Like, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. That's really good, yeah. They all came into. Too bad he didn't spread them out. Maybe they win if they spread them out. Kept McDavid to 2 goals the whole series and only a few points. Made Hellebuck look human, sub 900 save percentage. Go to Dallas. Dallas was the favorite, but not a heavy favorite. They were not the heavy favorite, but they were the favorite. People thought Ottinger, despite having a rocky series against Seattle, they're like, oh, God mode Ottinger, the best goalie in the playoffs right now. It's obviously before Bobrovsky really went crazy. But people were like, oh, Ottinger, he's going to goalie the shit out of them. And I was worried about that, too. I'm not going to lie. Like I told you, year after year after year, Vegas gets into a hot goalie and they can't figure it out. They get in their own head. I was worried about that. Like, that's very possible against Ottinger. Ottinger, maybe he's injured. I don't know what's going on with him. He did not play great this series at all. He got pulled 3 times. Aiden Hill got 2 shutouts on them. And now we go into the finals. Pretty even. Like when you look at the betting odds, when you look at people picking like analysts, specialists, whatever you want to call them. Like when fans, it's clear as day. Everyone wants Florida to win. We are still the most hated. I've seen multiple comments where if Vegas wins, they're never watching hockey again. They're just lying to themselves.
That's a good idea.
If Vegas wins, it's only because Bettman is paid off the refs, the golden refs, as people like to call them.
You also exploited LTIR because Mark Stone is not hurt or has ever been hurt, apparently.
Again,
completely
we've
healthy.
talked about this before.
Completely healthy.
We'd rather have had Mark Stone than Bluger.
Or you'd rather have $10 million extra.
And Leonard's not playing. That's $5 million. And who else is? What's his name?
Look, it's fine. Look, you're exploiting the cap. It's okay, but just accept it. Accept that you're exploiting the cap.
So Vegas is over the cap by how much? I forgot how much.
I don't know, 15, 17 million.
15. I think it's 15.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Edmonton fans were like, "Oh, they're 15 over." I'm like, "Fucking Edmonton's 9 over." So relax. If you ain't exploiting the cap, that's on your team.
Okay, but
you know
no, my only thing is people being like, no, a team would never do that. No, like that. Why would we?
Every team would do it.
We would never do that. So just accept it. Can you accept that they exploited the system to Mark Stone then?
Yes and no.
No,
we'll get to this afterwards. Either way, I'm about done. I'm about done with my speech. Okay.
Okay, everyone. The Vegas asterisk Vegas did exploit the cap. Mark Stone is not hurt. Thank you. Go on.
Either way, now we come to the finals, and this year feels different. I'm not saying we're gonna win because Florida they feel like the team of destiny, very similar how Vegas year 1 did. Everything's going their way. They have a goalie who's playing out of their mind, much better than Fleury was playing, and Fleury was playing amazingly that first year in the playoffs until he wasn't. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. And Vegas, you've come this way. They fought through all this hatred, through all the injuries, through all the bullshit. A lot of it.
I'm trying not to roll my eyes at you, Miguel.
A lot of it, which they brought upon themselves. I will not deny that, Eric. I will not deny that. A lot of hatred and dislike and controversy that was brought about them. For the first time since like year 2, it seems like the locker room is good vibes in the locker room. They like each other. Clear as day. There's people that were creating issues in the locker room, like Pacioretty, like Leonard. Clear as day. Clear as day, Eric.
Man, we are rewriting the entire book, huh?
Clear as day, Eric.
Just going over history and just marking out everything and putting a spin on it.
I like Leonard, but clearly.
Look, let me break it down for you. I'll take over the story from here. All right. So now you have the Stanley. No,
Eric.
I got this. Don't worry. I got this. Take a load off. I got this. I have nothing else to do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary pals, whoever you are listening to us, the Vegas Golden Knights. Look, they've been a heavily favorite. They're a well-constructed team. They've had to adjust on the fly. The core of year 1 is still there. The best parts. You got your Shea Theodore, your Braden McNabb, your Golden Misfits, Carlson, Smith, and Riley. And they've been able to retool. The addition of Jack Eichel cannot be understated. It gave them an actual number 1 center. No longer are jokes being made of Chandler Stevenson being number 1. That being said, they're not the underdogs. They are a hated team, yes.
Oh, they're not the underdogs.
They've weaponized the stupidity of other GMs since year 1. I think we can all accept that. We saw the ramifications of it in Seattle's expansion draft where no one wanted to do anything because they did not want to be, hey, here's another fun through line for you, the Florida Panthers, who decided to ship out Jonathan Marchessault. Actually, they decided to ship out Riley Smith along with
Riley Smith, yeah.
Jonathan Marchessault, so they could
gave us
protect.
Riley Smith to take Marchessault's contract.
No. They wanted to get rid of Riley Smith. Marchessault was a sweetener. Because Riley Smith was injury prone at that point. $5 million, a lot of money. They wanted to protect, fucking forget what defenseman was, but they traded, the guy that he protected was traded away like within that year anyway. So awful. They didn't want to become a Columbus. You're Pittsburgh. So you saw the ramifications of that and the overreactionary. Has there been a lot of overreactionary to the Vegas Golden Knights? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You guys haven't suffered enough. I'm on that camp. You need to suffer. You do.
Why?
I think it just makes your story better. It makes your story better. If anything, as a sports fan, Miguel, having awful teams gives you a lot more character than having good teams. But hey, if it was up to me,
if Seattle would have won this year, people would have celebrated it. Celebrated it. No one was angry that they beat the Colorado. Everyone was cheering them on.
Do you know why? Do you want to know why?
Why?
Who are the Colorado Avalanche? What did they do last year? What did they do last year?
The only Stanley Cup champions in 32-team history.
Well, there you go. The greatest team in the 32-team era. You want an underdog. Yes. You want an underdog, all right? Everyone cheered Vegas year one because they were the underdogs. They are no longer the underdogs. They are the overdog, if you will. Which brings me to the other side of the coin, the Florida Panthers. Let me tell you a story about the Florida Panthers. Last year, very disappointing. All the expectations in the world, President's Trophy curse, hello, Tampa Bay Lightning. Swept in 4. They had that whole thing with their coach, was it Stan Bowman? Or the other guy? No, Pete Quenville. Joel Quenville. That was their coach. That's the other guy from Chicago. After the Kyle Beach stuff went out, Andrew Brunette took over, and you saw him get worked a little bit in that second round game, and it was a type of beating by a rival within that same state. That kind of changes everything. That makes you take a gander at everything. So the trade happened. The core was dismantled a little bit. Mackenzie Weegar out. Jonathan Huberdeau out. In comes Matthew Tkachuk. And hey, surprise, here's a new coach that no one thought of. Paul Maurice. And the start is awful. People forget that Spencer Knight hasn't played the majority of the season because he's been away doing the substance abuse program that the NHL provides. So hope he gets better. But it's easy to say that Sergei Bobrovsky, Miguel, probably was the third best goalie on that Panthers roster at $10 million.
Yeah, for sure.
And they just get in. If Pittsburgh wins that game against Chicago who ended up landing Connor Bedard, the rest is history, down 3-1 against the best team ever in regular season history in the NHL. But they find a way. Matthew Tkachuk game winner in Game 7 against the Boston Bruins. The 5-game beatdown of a team that statistically kicked your ass up and down in terms of possession, in terms of time on attack. That didn't matter. And you go against the Carolina Hurricanes, a team that's really balanced, and you goalie them with a .966 save percentage and 3 game-winning goals in that series in 4 games with Matthew Tkachuk. Which brings me all to say this, Miguel. In the last few years, it's the thing I've told you. There's always been a Cinderella team to make it to the final, right? You have Vegas in if you want to go 5-6 years, Vegas year 1,
Except
Montreal.
for maybe the bubble year.
No, Dallas. Dallas was.
Were they considered Cinderella?
Yeah.
Were they bad that year?
No, but Anton, if you have a team with Anton Khudobin on there, I think they were in the top 4. I think they were 4th overall in the West. But when you have a team that's being goalied by Anton Khudobin, don't forget Ben Bishop couldn't play because he was hurt. So
year 1, Vegas was definitely Cinderella. Year 2, Blues were definitely Cinderella story. That was actually a great story.
Last to first,
Gloria.
Yeah, you have the Dallas Stars with. I think the goaltender makes that entire story. You have Anton Khudobin.
Montreal definitely Cinderella story.
But the main through line happens where they lose in the final, and
for sure,
I think that's what's going to happen this time. I don't think Florida has a chance. I think this series is over quickly. I think the slipper is coming off. The slipper is breaking. I think Miguel.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the recent history that we've gotten in terms of teams being hot and making their way to the playoffs on these inevitable runs. I think 10 days hurts them. I think they needed to keep playing to make it last. I just think the better team usually wins in the final. And what have I said? I've always said this, Miguel. The Vegas Golden Knights aren't the best team. They aren't the worst team. They are team. They are just team. They are just team.
They are just team.
And there's nothing bad that I can say about them. Like, do I trust Aiden Hill to be a Stanley Cup goaltending winning goalie? Not really, but who cares?
If there's any holes in Vegas' system, it's the goaltending. Just because historically Aiden Hill has not been that guy.
No, he's been fine.
Fine. I'll say this for Aiden Hill. If he's able to... I mean, at the end of the day, I think this series comes down to where I believe Vegas is more deep. Florida has the better goalie historically. Florida Kachuk is outplaying anybody on Vegas right now, and there's no denying that. I will not even try to argue. As good as Jack Eichel has been, Matthew has been better. Like, if you ask me right now, I'd trade Matthew and Jack, and I love Jack. You know I love Jack. So Florida has the better high end, has the better goalie. I think Vegas edges them out on defense. But at the end of the day, I believe this series is going to come down. Like you said, Florida is, to me, the Cinderella story this time around. Vegas is not the Cinderella story. Vegas is the better team on paper. Cinderella does come to an end sometimes. But I believe is which goalie comes down to reality is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think recent history has shown us that Bobrovsky's been streaky, if not unplayable a lot of times. So I think that's the key. It's whatever goaltending matchup lasts, because I mean it could be wrong, but I don't see both of them being a 9-4.
No, I don't.
For the series,
I truly believe when we come out on the other side of this series, it's because one goalie fell apart. Which goalie that will be, we'll see. I hope it's. I mean, clearly, I hope it's Bob. But
I do think most if it was a normal situation where the breaks were a little more unevened because of the sweep and the 6-game series, I think enough of a break has happened where I think both teams will be rusty to a degree in that first 10 minutes of game one. Miguel, I don't see it. I think it's over for Florida. I think it's done in 5.
I will say that I'm very happy and excited. The mentality in the Vegas locker room is so like I said, this team feels like they're enjoying the ride. They're happy. They're loving. They all constantly say the thing like, "Oh, we're all best friends in the locker room." Is that true? No, it's not true. You can't be best friends with that many people, but they are getting along. Something you haven't seen. They are having fun. Something you haven't seen.
But you can also see it with Florida, though. That team has rallied, being the worst.
For sure. And when you talk to you see all the interviews, you could see the focus, especially to the guys that were there in year one, the guys that suffered that loss, that they didn't get to touch the Stanley Cup. You see it in their eyes when they ask them, like, "Oh, are you excited to win this series against Dallas?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's great, but I mean, job's not done. This is not where we want to end. We've been here before, and we weren't able to pull it off. We're pretty much, I forgot who said it. I think it was Bruce Cassidy. We're saying pretty much at the end of this series."
I mean, talk about another guy who's lost the final.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, neither coach has won a Stanley Cup. Neither team has won a Stanley Cup. So it's like I think both coaches are 0-1, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I don't think Paul Maurice has coached a Stanley Cup final.
No? Okay.
I don't believe so.
Well, both teams are 0-1 though. Florida's only been to the Cup one time. They lost. They got swept
in the 90s.
Yeah,
so it's been a while.
I think. Yeah, 96. Yeah. But Bruce Cassidy was saying, like, if we lose, it's because Florida is the better team. He wants that to be the reason to lose. He wants to go out there, play correctly, play the hardest, play the best you can. No bullshit, no excuses. If we lose, it's because Florida was the better team, which is a possibility, he said. But he doesn't want like any other reason to be the reason they lose. Like it's just saying like someone playing stupid, someone taking dumb penalties, like that. He doesn't want that to be the reason. And that mentality seems to be across the board with all the players. They all seem very locked in, very serious about this. And my prediction, again, of course, I'm going to go with Vegas. So
Come on, join me on the. It's going to be 5, and it's not close. It'll be over before we know it.
So Eric, my heart says Vegas in 5. It actually does.
There you go. See,
and I'm not trying to be cocky. My mind, the skeptical one, is saying Vegas in 7 because Vegas hasn't gone to 7 this series, this playoff run. But I mean, Vegas hasn't won.
I'm already
won 5.
No, I'm already pre-med. I've already accepted it. Like as soon as Dallas won, barely and pushed it to 6. Like it was just a matter of time, and that's what I feel like it is. Like you can prolong it all you want. Your Vegas Golden Knights are going to be the 2022-23 Stanley Cup champions, and I'm already mad about it. I'm already upset about it. It should have been me.
I mean, we'll see. I'm going
to quote Christian from his mid 2010s run against Randy Orton.
I'm not planning the parade, but this team has been through a lot, and I don't just mean in the sense of struggling, because I know you guys don't believe we struggled enough. But this Vegas playing a lot, they've been through a lot. They fought hard. You've won 12 games. What is 4 more? So, boys,
it's the hardest 4 to win, Miguel.
It is the hardest 4, but you made it this far. So
but it's over. Florida, it's okay. There's no shame in coming in second.
Games?
Second's cool, Florida. Good job. Play your rats sober or whatever. But Miguel, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'll be hate watching the entire Stanley Cup Final.
I will probably be non-existent on the internet until
You're a coward.
Series is over.
A coward. You're a coward.
I am a coward. I've been doing it every series, Eric, and it's best for my mental health.
Once you ruined my life, you decided, you know what? Let's not jinx myself here.
I didn't ruin your life.
No, you did. You did.
That was Daniel. That was Daniel.
No, you did. You jinxed me, and I'll never forgive you for that. I'll never forgive you that.
Nah, you're trying to jinx me now.
No, I've just accepted. There's no shtick to this. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm going to continue being upset. This isn't fair. Life isn't fair, though, Miguel. I've come to accept that. I've come to terms with it. Okay, yeah. Vegas will win. Vegas will win. Miguel, go back and listen to my attitude when Jack Eichel got traded to go listen to that episode.
I don't actually remember what your reaction was.
Is that you can't keep getting away with this. You can't keep getting away with this. And what's the ultimate thing to get away with? The Stanley Cup. And I've accepted it. Vegas is here to curse me and ruin the rest of the NHL.
I feel like I've made a few Stanley Cup bets and I don't remember what they were with people.
Well, you didn't remember one with me, so that's good.
I didn't? No, huh?
No.
And no, I've said a few things where if Vegas wins the Stanley Cup, I'll do this. But you
should get a tattoo. You know what? Get a tattoo before game 1. Get a tattoo before game 1. Be confident.
So I mean, real quick. I mean, do you want me? I could either tell this on the podcast or off.
We're on 1 hour and 13 minutes. So what's another 2? You know.
So they do Vegas. This whole playoff run, every home game, they do free tattoos in front of the arena before the games. You can either get the logo, this one, the helmet. You can get the 2 swords with the star, or you can get the reverse retro diagonal Vegas. And I've come very close because it's actually it's tattooed by pretty much the number top 3 tattoo shops in Vegas.
And
one of the tattoo artists that won Ink Masters, I think year 2 or 3, I don't remember. But I've been tempted, but I'm weird about getting brands. I'm weird about getting brand tattoos. You know what I mean? As much as I love Vegas, I mean, obviously, I would not get nothing like Stanley Cup this year because
you're a coward,
an idiot.
No, do it before game 1. Show how confident you are.
We'll see.
2023 Stanley Cup champions.
No, I definitely will not get that tattoo.
Golden Knights, everyone. Congratulations, Miguel, on this cup win. It's just a matter of semantics at this point.
All I know, Eric, you're trying to jinx me, but that's okay.
No, I'm depressed.
Either way, you guys, you can find me at Miguel Kicks, Collectors Lobby on YouTube. I don't upload there anymore.
buy hockey cards. I'm being poor.
I wish I could stop being poor. I wish that was up to me. Eric, where can the people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, _Erick Orellana, _ERICKORELLANA. I went to Disneyland last week, Miguel. I built a lightsaber. It was great.
That's awesome. If Vegas wins the Stanley Cup,
I'll take you to Disneyland, and I'll buy you a lightsaber that you can build.
If Vegas wins if Vegas was the Golden Knights, if the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup, I will buy and open 3 boxes of hockey cards
There you go.
Collectors. Oh, one big video.
There you go.
Either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening, and watching. However you absorb this content. Thank you so much. I don't know why I said that. Either way, until next time. Peace.
This is the bad place. Vegas is gonna win.